control, rather than it putting us, imprisoning us into our homes. Take some more questions.
Okay, sir. We welcome viewers in YouTube, Deepa Pawani, Amor, V. Garg, Harsha Bivi. And the question from Deepa Pawani is, she says, my daughter struggles to mingle with materialistically rich people who are inclined towards Western culture. She is equally knowledgeable and in par economically along with them. How should she address it?
Okay, this is the problem at the moment, not in here, but in India especially. Somehow, as we are going through a period of tremendous poverty, just coming out of it, idea of becoming enriched physically, materially, has become with the driving force of modern India and modern Hindus in India as well as in the Western world. Make money, make money. So when we teach Hindus, they say, what, will it make money? No, no, then do IT technology. So they discourage the youngsters from studying their own tradition. They are fixated on making money because they've gone through a very poor patch. So we are kind of, in a way, very kind of focused on making more money. And the whole attitude of, I'm telling you, from my own community, 99% of the people think I'm an idiot to be doing this kind of religious work. I should be making more money. I'm so clever. So they look down on me, say, you lost the plot, haven't you? Make money. And this is the unfortunate situation that we face in India as well as in the Western world. Somehow the Hindu mind is fixated on money. I'm telling you truthfully, we are very good at making it, but we're fixated on it. So this higher aspiration that we had in the past has been lost. So if a youngster today who is keen to focus on higher aspiration is put down by people who say, no, you are in the wrong business. You should make money, become a professional and a huge amount of money. One good thing that has happened, if I can use the word good thing about the coronavirus, is all this money-making thing has been put on the back burner now, at least for a few years. Think that this is all fickle. You can't travel, you can't use your money, you can't spend your money, just sit quiet in your home. So in a way, it's telling you materialism doesn't work. So this young lady should be told, don't lose heart. There are very few people who are attracted to spiritual aspiration. Vast majority are just thinking animals, that's all. They can only look after physical interests that they have, and they can't think or latch on to anything, including Hindus. But Hindus are worse. In fact, my experience is this. The Western civilization has had money, has gone through the wealth process, enjoyed money as well, and now they are becoming mature and growing out of chasing after material aspirations. That's why all these things like yoga are becoming more popular in the West than in India, because they are saying this material chasing, it doesn't seem to quench our thirst. Something is still missing. So they are now looking towards this idea of spirituality in a very genuine manner, very organic manner. So tell this young lady, focus on deal with more Western people who are spiritually oriented rather than Hindus who are materially oriented. That would be my strong advice. Take some more questions. Nishibhai, where are we?
So I'll ask a question. So on the hard problem of consciousness, where we have brain signals, brain electrical signals, but how do they convert to what we experience?
Okay, well, why do you ask such difficult questions? I asked the same question to Susan Green. She's, I think, Susan Greenfield now. She's been kind of honored. And she's one of the top neuroscientists in this country. I think it's linked with Cambridge University. And at a meeting, I asked her, what is the blasted thing called consciousness? Where does it spring from? How does it interact with the rest of the physicality that represents the brain? How does it link up? And she said, well, hands up. She said, no idea, no idea. This consciousness that we are kind of the hard problem of neuroscience, we have no clue. She said, I've asked all these brain scientists, find me one slice of the brain where consciousness resides. So I can pull it down, there's consciousness, look, wiggling. She said, show me one brain slice that has got consciousness. I'll be very happy. And none of them answer. They said, don't ask Susan, they will sort it out later on. So consciousness, when they try and explore it in serious manner in neuroscience, they say it seems to be everywhere and nowhere. So not in any brain slice, and it seems to be everywhere and nowhere, and yet it is there. So it remains the hard problem of neuroscience, and why, Kaival, are you throwing it at me? Leave me out of it. So it remains unknown. The reason is this. It is, if you like, the spiritual underpinning that we possess, in a way manifesting itself through this physicality. And that link will always remain unanswerable. There's no physical cause and effect link that say, okay, this brain slice sending electrical signal, producing consciousness. There's no such thing. They're trying to find it, they can't. The only thing they do is two things they do, the scientists, the neuroscientists. They say, We've sorted so many things out. We'll sort it out in the days to come. So don't bother us now. Leave us alone. We'll sort it out. It's, as you know, okay, well, drawing blank checks on the future is not allowed by your parents. This is what they do. The second trick they use, and they're very naughty, is this, like Daniel Dennett. It's written, it's a great academic, written books and books on consciousness. And when I read through it, I said, give me a headache. There's no explanation of what this thing is all about. He just uses kind of computer lingo to say it's the kind of a mismatch between the hardware and the software in the brain that produces the illusion of consciousness. Consciousness is no other reality. It's just illusion of the kind of mismatch of the hardware and software in the brain. That's what his conclusion. And my issue is this: I say if consciousness is an illusion, then everything we are conscious about is super illusion. We should not be bothered with anything anymore now. So it's all illusionary. So he has not really responded, and so be it. But this is, if you like, a question that has not been answered, and I'm telling you, it will not be answerable. You won't find one link, a causal link between consciousness and any part of the brain. You will not find it. If you find it, then the underpinning is in trouble, because then you caught it through that causal link. There's no such link. Okay, well, don't ask me such tough questions. Please, somebody else.
There's a question from Harsha BV. She is asking, what is the relationship between Purush and Prakriti? Are they the same thing or are they different things?
Yes, it's exactly the same what Keval was talking about. Underpinning to reality is something dramatically different from what we experience. So everything we're aware of, including our mind, our intellect, all our faculties, physicality, the physical world, is all Prakriti. Everything, including our emotions, Prakriti. Everything Prakriti, says Kapil. So the link between Purush, the observer, and what is being observed, they are two distinctly different. And this is the beginning of Hinduism. The distinction between what is and what, our subject and the objective world that we are aware of. And there is no link. There is no causal link. That this part of the subject linked with this part. This kind of like that all the time. And this making the distinction between observed and who is observing is the whole science of spirituality. Recognizing yourself as the observer and not what is being observed, including your physicality, your mind, your intellect. Secondary. This is the whole idea. And that link will not be discussed. Same as I told Kaival. That link will remain crucially invisible, because if it becomes visible, then Purush and Prakriti are linked through that causal link. So Purush is in trouble straight away. But fortunately, he's not. He's in no way, no link. It's just that. It's just experience that I'm something separate from what I see or what I experienced. Good questions today. Manish is very good. What do you think?
We've had a very interesting number of questions so far. I have been working on the Facebook live stream. It went down, so I had to redo it. But it's all up and running now. And I'm going to pass to Manish Bhai to ask the next question. Then I will join the Q&A session actively.
Okay, sir. So next question is from Pavitra Sharma. He's saying, what actually is reality? What is the relationship between quantum and consciousness?
Today, why you leave me alone? Ask me simple thing. You see, the whole Hinduism is exploration of what is the nature of. Somebody said, what is Vedas? What is Upanishads? They're talking about nature of reality. That's the whole point. Nature of what the heck is this reality, and how is this reality linked with what I think I am, or my true nature? In this exploration is the word dharma. What is our true nature? What is the nature of this world that we encounter, and what is the relationship between this? This is what Upanishads talk about. Idea of the ultimate reality is Atman, or ultimate reality is Brahman, and the relationship. That is what Upanishads talk about. So these are very esoteric questions, very powerful questions. Some say, really speaking, the ultimate reality, the world reality, that the reality we see is underpinned by the same thing that's underpinning you. So there's a link at a deeper level, immediate link equating you to the ultimate reality. When somebody gets a spiritual experience, this is one of the interesting features. That person will record that he felt tremendous oneness with whole of creation. He said, but he's a little tiddly fellow, and the whole creation with galaxies and all that. No, he said, I feel it one with the whole of creation. Boom. So the link between what is being observed and what is your true nature becomes very revealed only at the experiential level. And this, fortunately, you may think only reserved for some rishis who spent whole their life under the, sitting under a tree. No. It can happen to ordinary person, because we are evolving very fast. Humanity is evolving very fast. I have tremendous love with humanity. So humanity now is beginning to, in a way, in a very organic way, They get a glimpse of a deeper reality, which appears as if they are linked with the whole creation. They feel that oneness, tremendous calmness, and kind of descends on them, and they feel at one with whole creation. And this is something that you can just, the only way you can understand is experience it. Otherwise, you listen to Mr. Lakhani, he's waving his arms. This is reality. So you say, what is the nature of reality? It is your true nature. What is your true nature? The nature of reality. We are one and the same. We just appear to be kind of disjointed. Take some more questions, sir. You lost all of our links. Manish Bhai.
Okay, I'll carry on, sir. Next one. You know, Ramayana talks about Vimans, gods flying in Vimans from one place to another, and we have Ravana going everywhere in his Pushpak Viman. So the question from Planetary Citizen says, were the Vimanas described in Hindu texts really flying machines?
Okay. Look, I'm going to rattle a lot of people, but I do this because it's better that I rattle you than somebody who is not from your own faith rattling you. When we do these archaeological digs, we can dig, we found, I think the earliest human body we discovered was in near Hyderabad, which goes back to about 38,000 years. So you can really dig that far back. So the archaeological evidence would immediately reveal if we had any such technology, any such mechanism, flying aircraft or whatever, it would have revealed it by now for sure. So there is zero evidence that we had any such high technology. The only thing we say is it is a bit of exaggeration that crept into the story of Ramayana. So that is the best way to handle it, because unless you have some genuine, evidence, don't go flying off saying, oh, we had this Viman and there is written in this Pushpak Viman, all that. I would say just smile and say, okay, a bit of exaggeration. And otherwise it doesn't fit in with the reality that we encounter. Unless things agree with your own reality, your common sense, don't just fly along. You see, this is the big problem. Somehow Hindus think the only way they can, in a way, feel empowered about their tradition and feel strong about their religion is to show, look, we had all the scientific discoveries and we this, that, and we had Pushpak Viman, we had nuclear power in the Mahabharata war. And stop it, my friends. We are highly advanced with a deeper vision regarding nature of reality. But this kind of scientific and advancement, etc., don't try and say, oh, it was there already, it was written here. Because then you see it flies in the face of common sense. There is no material. We need something, one bolt, one nut. Nothing. So we had a very ancient civilization, very highly advanced in spiritual matters, but not in material matters. Be aware of that. Then you are safe. Otherwise, you look like a fool when you're talking to people at university. And I don't talk stuff like that. I simply say exaggeration that has crept in. And we love exaggerations. Come on. But this thing cannot be real, cannot be physically true, not literally true. Be aware of that. Take some more questions.
So,
Yeah.
I am now back now. So,
I'm getting, Nishit Bhai, you are the leader. I'm getting worried. You keep disappearing. Go on.
So I have a question. So Hinduism has a problem at the very core, which is that it doesn't help and recognize the poor people as part of its central teachings. That's what I feel. And generally, I'll tell you where I'm coming to with this story, is that it lacks an organized structure to recognize and help its poor and deprived at the critical stages of life, which is basically when they're sick, or number two, when they're looking at health and education to improve their circumstances. I don't think there is any organized section of Hinduism that talks about this. However, when it comes to conversion, we have lots of other sort of religions that try and convert people to help them in their, but then they start with the poor people, more or less, to try and alleviate their problems, and then they convert them to their religions. So what are your take on this thing? And where do you think in Hinduism, do we have a place that says that you need to help the people who are less fortunate than yourself?
Okay, excellent thing to explore. In fact, Himanshu Bhai asked the same question recently, saying, I went to this top temple, millions of dollars being spent to build a new temple, and outside I see a scholar, people struggling to survive, don't have enough food or water to drink. What kind of Hinduism is this? He was asking me the same question some time back. You asking me the same question. You see, we have got it wrong. Bluntly, we have got it wrong, seriously wrong. Somehow, instead of reducing the distance between haves and have-nots, as we see in the Western world, we allowed it to become wider. It's frightening. You say, but how did it happen? We're supposed to be a very mature civilization. How did we allow, a whole bunch of people to be crushed like this, struggling to survive? How did we allow this kind of disjoint, huge gap between haves and have-nots? I'll be very frank. The very thing that helped us become so powerful and such a powerful tradition is if you don't understand it properly or half understand it, can become seriously negative. The answer is this. The oversimplistic vision we have regarding law of karma, very powerful law of karma, saying that things are intertwined through cause and effect. The whole of science is nothing but looking for this interconnection between cause, things, how things interact, or how things develop. It's a central feature of science, central feature of Hinduism. Wonderful. But then the Hindus, we give it oversimplistic understanding. So you say, is somebody poor? They must have done bad things in the past life, the karma, so let them suffer, let them die. See, this is what we have been doing. So we allow this, we kind of distance ourselves. We don't feel guilty for being very rich. We say, no, they deserve it. We deserve to have fun. We did good things in our past life. See, highly oversimplistic interpretation of law of karma has created this hell in India. And I pointed out saying, law of karma is one of the most powerful things you've discovered, and you misused it. You, in a way, or given it a highly oversimplistic interpretation, which has created hell for you. It is true. Today, when you go to India, you see a big difference. A very rich person takes you for a restaurant for a 5-star meal, and outside there's somebody starving, and you say, what about that? He said, Mr. Lakhani, don't worry. We enjoy. We did good things in our past life. We're enjoying our past karma. Let's go in and enjoy. That girl must have done bad things in her past life. Leave her. Don't worry. It's none of our business. Now, in reality, the law of karma says exactly the opposite. It says that when you see an issue in front of your eyes that needs to be sorted out, you sort it out. You don't turn your back. In fact, the story that comes out very strongly is the story of Mahabharata, and it's important that we pull it out here. Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows. And then Krishna went and said, why are you like this? You are a majestic personality. Why are you in this particular situation? And the answer he gave is exactly this. He said, when these Pandavas were mistreated, I turned my back. And that's why I'm paying a price today. So when you see an issue in front of your eyes that needs resolving, where you need to be proactive, and you turn your back, you pay a price. This is what India has done. For the last 1,000 years, this law of karma has killed us. It produces a huge gap between haves and have-nots. We become indifferent to the suffering of the poor. Indifferent, who cares? And this is not going away, it's still there. So this is the reason why. And do you know how the law of karma catches up with this kind of people? I'll give you an example. Suppose you're very rich in this life and you're wearing kurtas and flying in helicopters and I'm so billionaire. Fair enough. How will the law of karma catch up with you? Because there are poor people starving at your doorstep and you did not look at them and you didn't do anything for them. How will it catch up with you? I should give you the simple answer. This life you are here. It's just by chance. Next life you'll be down there struggling, suffering, and other people who are down there will be dancing with kurtas. So the difference is not gone away. And you paid your price. This time you ignored them. And now you are paying the price because you are now suffering. Suppose you take an action and reduce the gap between have and have-nots. Whether you're born here or whether you're born there would not have made any difference. That guy got a bigger car, you got a slightly smaller car, but you're still nearly there. So that you reduce the difference between have and have-nots, then you are safe, whether you're born here or there. But you did not do that. So you have this big gap. You think, I'm safe here. You're safe only for the time being. You'll be down there. And nobody will look at you even. So this is how the Hindus are paying a serious price of misunderstanding a very powerful law that they discovered in thousands of years. The first discovery of Hinduism is law of karma. And yet, because we give this oversimplistic interpretation, we ignore the issue in front of us saying, who cares if they have done the bad things? Let them suffer. This Glenn Hoddle, the English footballer, lost his job because of this indifference. Two things you must warn. Law of karma never says become indifferent to your own suffering, saying, I must have deserved it, I was crying, sit in the corner. Don't say become a fatalist. First thing. Second, so don't be indifferent to your own suffering. Say, no, things ganged up against me, I come fighting and sort myself out. Secondly, don't become indifferent to the suffering that you see in front of your eyes. So do something for them. Then you understood law of karma correctly. Don't become indifferent to your own suffering and be a fatalist, or don't become indifferent to the suffering of others, which we are doing at the moment. That is when, by what you observed is absolutely true. I can't go to India. I struggle. In fact, my wife won't let me go to India because whatever money I got, I'll give it away like that. And there'll be no money left for the travel. So because I can't see this, I shudder. I can't see this. It hurts me because I see this huge gap. And you say, what have we done to our own people? We have crushed them. In fact, Swami Vivekananda said something very, very cutting. He said the Hindus have been very good by not persecuting people of other religions or going out to conquer others. They have not done that. But the Hindus have been very nasty to their own. The people at the lower rungs of society, they have crushed them, and they still continue to crush them. So the Hindus have been not been nasty to people of other religions. So nice, well, so lovely. But they've been nasty to their own people. So when these people at the lower rungs, we crush them and they change their religion, we can't say, somebody told me, I'm being crushed, I'm going to change my religion. I said, go for it, change your religion, fine. See, because we can't give them dignity. If somebody else gives them dignity, let it be. But this is what we have done to us. A very cutting question, which is why I'm pleased you asked this. Because this question with this particular session will go on WhatsApp. It's very important.
Thank you, Jay Bhai. So that was really, really interesting to explore, and I see it all the time. I know how much you support, people, and it was something that I really enjoyed listening to, and I got some answers from you. So thank you for that. I just like to take a moment to welcome a few people on Facebook. We've got Stephanie, we've got Jai Champs, we've got Ripple Patel, we've got Pritham Singh watching us from Noida, and we've got Nandan Anavekar, we've got Aniket, and in fact, we've got many other viewers online. Now, Jay, I wanted to explore something else with you. Hinduism, as you've explained so well before, comes in many flavors. Whether you are somebody who is agnostic or you are an atheist, it is still open for you. Whether you are somebody who believes in the personality sort of thing, so you're monotheist or you're pluralist, whatever it is, if you are believing in the principle-based form of Hinduism, you're still welcome to it. Now, I want to explore one particular area, which is on taking Hinduism on the personality-based side of things. And one of the pathways that people choose is Bhakti Marg. So the question I want to explore today is, what is the importance of murtis in the worship, in Hinduism?
Okay. See, it's important to ask questions like this. People don't realize, when we do murti, murti first of all comes from the word murta, means giving a material status to the spirit. See, the word itself is telling you, we are trying to give a material form, material status, material form to something that's essentially non-material, murta, the non-spiritual side of expressing something that's spiritual. So we do this. And why do we do this? And again, I've used this word before. I use it deliberately to educate our own people. The root word is prati, means going towards. So from prati, we get derived two words, pratika and pratima. Pratika says a symbol that will lead me to God, and pratima says an image that will lead me to God. We are very aware of it, that we require, but we say, well, why do we need it, Mr. Lakhani? Come on, God is infinite. And I make fun. I say, look, this infinite God has got the power to become finite and infinite and play with us. So let it be. Why criticizing it? People abruptly say, no, you can't do that. I said, we can do it. You're caught missing one button. It can become finite and live with us. So the imagery we use are very powerful, very useful. When you want to focus your mind, suppose you want to focus your mind and say, Brahman, Atman, what do you focus on? Nothing. You have no attributes, Nirgun, Nirakar. What do you focus on? You are stuck. You just you're a Dumbo. You just sit there and your mind is blank. The only way you can engage with the idea of spirituality is to look at this kind of finite imagery we use, or finite forms we use. And I love it. Because in fact, that is the way you can focus your mind. Otherwise, the mind is going to say, well, it's zero. You're switched off, your cursor is blinking in your face, nothing there. But if you kind of focus on this kind of imagery, then you immediately get caught up. And I go to many temples. Of course, I like to think of God in humanity rather than the temples or in the images. But I go there deliberately. And when they remove, when the curtain opens up, for time for darshan, viewing the image that you love, the God of the deity you love, I look at the image, I look at the people. And the people, their eyes get filled with tears of joy. They're in front, they're confronting their God. They see that as real God. So forget about me giving philosophic lectures. These people see those images as, if you like, direct image, direct, if you like, link with God. And that is doing its work, it's doing its job. So this is a wonderful way. Other religions don't have it. We are fortunate we can have it. We got hundreds of them, colorful ones. They wear different clothes every day in temples. So we are spoiled for choice. So it's a great benefit we have of thinking about ultimate reality using imagery. So it's a great boon for us to have this. Others don't have it, and they want to criticize. No. But then they got nothing. They got in the blank. The God is in the blank. They don't have a form, name, nothing. Well, we say, no, we can have many forms, different names, Father God, Mother God, no problem. We love it. Because these are different ways we can, our finite mind can engage with the idea of infinite using finite imagery. And we don't mind, we love it. I see Meena Patel asking difference between Atman and Jivatman. But anyway, I'll take it if you ask me.
Great. We have lots of questions, but we only have about 20 minutes of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over to Cable. You're going to ask a question, then I'm going to come back and ask you a googly. This is courtesy of Nandan Anavekar today. And then we will pass on back to the rest of the team, and we'll wrap up around 2, or maybe just run past 2, a little bit past 2 if the questions are many today. Cable, over to you.
Okay, that has 2 questions from YouTube. So Jay Udit asks, how did animal sacrifice come to Hinduism? And Vedic Bliss asks, why have we lost rishis completely in the current era, while we can still find ample who claim to be yogis and gurus?
Okay, first question. Look, almost all civilizations in the world, not just Hindus, all civilizations in the earlier times, I would say a few thousand years back, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago, the only way they can interact with the reality of the world they encountered, the forces of nature they were under. Look, most of us were struggling to make sure that we get rain. Rain was the main thing to keep us to survive. So all the ancient civilizations were very keen to kind of, in a way, appease the force of rain. And how do we do that? Rain is completely, come on, even now the meteorologists struggle to say whether it's going to be rainy or not. So how do the ancient people, how can they ask rain to fall on their crops and grow? So the only way they could think is to say, let us offer something to rain god, personify rain as a god, rain god. So they say, let's offer something to please him, so that he will, when time comes, the rain falls and we survive. And say, what's the best thing we can offer? Fruit, food, what can we offer? Flowers? There's no, it's not. Best thing we can offer is life. Life, because we all know life is precious. So in the Abrahamic tradition, Abraham was prepared to sacrifice his son to please the God in the heaven. So he was prepared to kill his son, forget about the animals. So old traditions in the Mayan civilization, they were pulling heart of living persons, living human beings, heart was pulled out and offered to God, or the higher forces, I would say. So this has been, if you like, the human limitation of trying to relate to reality and trying to control reality. It is visible in every civilization, including Hindu civilization. We had animal sacrifices. And where is the proof? Buddha, look at the story of Buddha. He was very worked up about the idea that you sacrifice animals to go to higher heaven. So he challenged the king saying, if you sacrifice 1,000 animals to go to higher heaven, sacrifice me, a human, you go to even higher heaven. And the king fell at his feet, said, this is terrible. Not how can you please somebody by killing animals or human beings on earth? So we all had it. This is how we started our journey, but we grew out of it very fast and must give thanks to Buddha as the first person to stand up saying nonsense. So this is where we have progressed. We have become more mature. We were quite violent people in the past. We must recognize it. We are sacrificing animals to please the God in the heaven. It's terrible. So this is the story of animal sacrifice. Okay, well, the second question you asked, sorry, can you tell me what it was again?
It was, why have we lost rishis completely?
Yeah.
Why we
Okay.
have many yogis and sadhus?
Yes, the thing is this, the good you asked me this. I see today now on television, lot of individuals calling themselves this rishi, cosmic rishi, yoga rishi, like that. They're putting this word rishi behind their name as a title they take on themselves. None of them are fit to be called rishi. None of them, I'm telling you, because I look at all of their lives. How do you judge? A genuine rishi who has actually experienced ultimate reality, the spirit, will not go after name, fame, money, starting movements, charging money, commercial element, zero. A rishi will never do that. Once he's experienced the spirit, he sees himself reflecting all human beings. He can never say, oh, give me your money, give me your devotion, sit at my feet. He will never ask for anything. These are genuine rishis. You say, well, you're saying, but where are they now? They seem to be just yogis and swamis, other titles. But they're okay in their own way. The word rishi is being misused now. At the moment, I see half a dozen people on the television saying, calling themselves rishi. I say, this guy should be, I shouldn't be rude. I'm a non-violent person. They don't have any right to call themselves rishi. Rishi is a very, very generic title we give to the highest of the high. People who say we have had experience of God. From the Sanskrit root, drish. I've had experience, first an encounter with ultimate reality, spirit, God, what you like to call it. So these are very special titles. It should not be given to ordinary people or self-acclaiming themselves to be rishis. Just get lost. But this is, I'm sorry rude today, but I feel very offended. But you say, Mr. Lakhani, don't we have any rishis? We have. Look, the best name that springs straight away from the word Rishi is Ramana Maharshi, Maharishi. Ramana, see, modern Rishi. Then we have other ones who are not Rishis, but they're calling themselves Rishis. I'll touch one. Sorry, I'm not going to open anybody. But you see, Rabindranath Tagore's father, Rabindranath Tagore, allowed himself to be called Maharshi, big Rishi. No, there's no sign that he had experienced ultimate reality. So Rishis is a very special title, but we had few in the recent past. I'll mention a few, just not to promote any specific ones, but there are some lovely individuals. We can define them as Rishi, even though they never bothered to put that title. People who are not Rishis are keen to jump and put a rubber stamp on themselves, but the genuine ones don't bother. Like Ramana Maharshi didn't want himself to be called Ramana Maharshi, but people just decided finally that he's a Maharishi. Same with, say, Vivekananda. Person enlightened to the core throughout day and night, or Ramakrishna Paramans, and there are others I mentioned now. There was somebody called Swami Ramdas who lived in South India. Again, when you look at his life, this guy is charged up. And there was somebody called Swami Ramatirth, a Punjabi Swami, who lived about 50 years after Vivekananda. Again, when you look at his life, he's charged up. He said, these are genuine rishis. You've not even heard the names, because they don't start a sectarian movement, drum beating and building temple. They couldn't bother. This is the sign of a genuine rishi. He basically just flows and helps humanity. So yeah, again, because I love the word rishi and I love the word, the key people like Ramana Maharshi. I'll take some more questions. Nishit bhai?
Yep. So, Jay bhai, what I'd like to do is just say hello to a few more people who've joined us. We've got lots of viewers today on Facebook, which is nice to see. We've got Gemini Popat, we've got Vilas Kubari, Chetan Anand, we've got Deshnidhi Sinao, Srivastava watching us from Lucknow, and Vedic Bliss, and many others. So today I want to ask you a googly question, which is from Nandan Anavekar. And the question is, if we are consciousness, the Atma, do we have individuality? What drives our decisions? If our true nature is Atma, then do we have free will?
Okay, you joined up a lot of questions. I'll just, because this question came earlier, I saw it on the screen. Difference between Atman and Jivatman. Look, Atman, I'll give you a simple metaphor. A metaphor is tricky, but I'll use it because it's useful and it's easier to grab a tough idea. You go to the seaside. Well, now you're allowed to go in London. And from the cliff of Dover, you look at the sea and the sun is out and you see the waves on the surface of the water. And when you see the waves, at the crest of every wave is a sparkle. Phew! And from the cliff, you say, wow, the sea has come alive. There's so many living things, buzzing, bubbling, appearing, disappearing, interacting. Wow, everything's come alive. And yet we know that none of them are real living things, and yet they appear to be living things. This is the difference between Atman and Jivatman. This will answer your second part of the question as well. The self, the spirit, the sun never comes down to the sea. It appears at the crest of every wave. So at the crest of every human frame or every living thing, the thing that's shining out is the same spirit, Atman. But it appears as Jivatman, and when it appears as Jivatman, it becomes confined. It loses its true dignity as Atman and gets linked up. Oh, I'm me, it's me. So the sparkle suddenly thinks that it's got individuality. That's the Jivatman. He thinks he's the height of the wave. And then the wave goes down, he dies, and he reappears another wave. So Jivatman are, if you like, the appearance of the Atman is encapsulated in this body and mind frame. It's a tiddler. And yet underneath the tiddler sits this thing, the Atman. So only when the Jivatman stops bothering with the waves around him and saying, oh, I'm rich and I'm poor or whatever, I'm big or heavy or not heavy, he looks up and says, what's my true nature? He says, I'm not here, I'm there. And that is the core spiritual experience, or discovering our oneness, not with Jivatman, but with Atman. Jivatman comes and goes. Atman is your true nature. Linking up with Atman, your true nature, is the aim of spirituality, the aim of religion. And that is what we teach. So this idea of this, they're very good questions. So it appears, and the word there's a tricky word, appears to be encapsulated. If it actually gets encapsulated, do you think the sun gets captured by the crest of the wave? No, it appears to be captured and it makes it shine, shimmer, and yet it is not there. And this is the metaphor I'm using deliberately to give a very subtle idea. Atman is the spirit, that's your true nature, free and pristine and perfection itself. Yet when it appears as Jivatman, it appears like a tiddler, struggling, fighting coronavirus, whatever. So it appears as a tiddler, at the mercy of nature. But you are actually not there, you are there. But the thing is, at the moment I would say, stay home, be safe.
So what about the question about free will? So some people say, oh, I have resigned myself to fate, or it's my destiny, and they don't do anything about their situation. What do you have to say about um, the ability for people to change their circumstances and not believe in fate
You
or
see,
destiny as such?
you asked this question so many times, Nishit Bhai. Now I'll try to answer it every time. I'll do it one more time. You see, just as I said, this appearance that Atman is captured as Jivatman, there's an appearance that you are shackled. You see this word, Jivatman thing, shackled. He's at the mercy of the waves moving up and down and pushing it around, at the mercy of nature. So Jivatman appears kind of be at the mercy of nature, and yet we know he's never at the mercy of nature. In the same way, the thing that is our true nature is always free. Doesn't if there's freedom is there, it's the underpinning. And yet it appears to have lost its freedom. So if you like it, every human being, every living thing is fighting for freedom, not for God, fighting for freedom to break free from shackles, limitations. So free will is in fact is an expression of something that is not, doesn't like to be tied up. So it shows up as free will. So when I say I'm expressing my free will, I'm trying to say I'm trying to break free from all the limitations that are imposed upon me. That is a sign of free will. So it is not something you snuff out. Don't say, oh, let everything hit me. Then you get thumped even more. When you say I've got free will, I'll sort myself out. At least it gives you greater control on the way you live your life. So never say I've become, fatalist. Let everything hit me. I don't care. I'm free. I don't have free will. It's all fixed anyway. No, it's not, because the thing that you think you have free will is also part of the journey. So don't snuff it out. Use it to the maximum to kind of, in a way, rise above the idea you are limited, or you're under the kind of constant pressure of the physical world that you encounter, including coronavirus. You stand up and fight against it. If suppose we whole humanity say, look, coronavirus, kill us all, we'll all die. But we say, no, roll up your sleeves. We are going to control you rather than you control us. This is a sign of free will. This is a sign of the spirit. So be it. Don't snuff it out.
I've got a question from Priya Ranjan. She's asking about Ramakrishna, and she's saying he obviously knew that he was enlightened. He hit enlightenment right from a young age. Why did he then go back and worship Kali if he already was identified himself as the Atman?
Very, very good. You should ask this question. This is, you see, because I love this gentleman so much. I've studied his life inside out, and I can hope to give you a correct, clear answer. You see, this individual, I'm telling you, right from birth was highly charged up. From a very young age, he had the highest knowledge Hindus claim is Brahmagnan. Seeing yourself as Brahman, ultimate reality, manifesting as everything is your essential nature. This is called Brahmagnan. He had it at a very young age. So hit the top note at a very young age. Then he said, why did you bother to talk about Mother Goddess? I tell you why. The aim of this particular avatar, if I can use the correct word, is this: is to reconcile different strands of Hinduism. There are different strands, as Nishit Bhai just asked, personality-oriented and principle-oriented. These are different strands. One talks of Atman and Brahman, Nirgun, Nirakar, and all that. Other talks of great personalities, Vishnu, Shiva, Mother Goddess. Personality-oriented. These are two different strands, major flavors of Hinduism. So here is the avatar of modern times saying, I'm going to reconcile. Rather than say, oh, I've touched Brahmagnan, I'm a Rishi, come on, worship me and all that. He said, couldn't be bothered. He said, I've had it. I know it. He knew it actually. But then he put in tremendous effort to see how we can reconcile principle-oriented Hinduism with personality-oriented Hinduism. And he said, let me choose now. I like the guy. He said, rather than focus on some kind of ultimate reality as Vishnu or Shiva, father figure, male figure, that tiresome chaps. Let me focus on Divine Mother. And he chose to focus on the idea of ultimate reality as Divine Mother. Now you see, but how can this be? He said, Brahmagnan and Divine Mother is personality oriented. He said, I am going to convert this principle, this great principle of Brahman, into the form of my desire, form of my choice, form of my liking, and make it come and play with me, interact with me in very real terms. We put in tremendous, he had to work very hard, even though it's a highly charged personality. He had to work many years before he could convert this principle, Brahman, into the form of his desire, Mother Goddess, and come and play with him and interact with him. And this is a wonderful story of how you reconcile the principle-oriented Hinduism with the personality-oriented Hinduism, not through just lecturing. In reality, the reason why he could do it is this: he himself is actually essentially a spirit. So he's got the power to manipulate the spirit. So manipulate the Atman, the Brahman, manipulate it and take a form and play with him. or interact with him. This is the grand mastery. He came to reconcile Hinduism. And if he had not reconciled, this would always be like two separate strands of Hinduism. But in one life, in 1 minute, is full flow as Atman. He disappears as myself is a spirit. Next minute he says, okay, I've come on. Mommy, where are you? Yoo-hoo! He goes, runs to the temple and talks to Mother Goddess. Same one life, literally instantaneously, from one this to that, this to this. And reconciliation. That is why I think this particular avatar is, that's why Vivekananda, his disciple, said, avatar varishtai, very superior avatar, trying to reconcile very vastly different strands of Hinduism in one lifetime, almost instantaneously, without, 1 minute Atman Brahma, next minute Mother Goddess. So this is the reason why he did it. And this is why we must pay a tremendous tribute to him. He's the only person in the history of humanity who has been able to reconcile all the various strands of Hinduism as well as other religions. No, there's nobody else on this platform who can do that. And it was not just I think they are good and let's play ball with everybody. It was actually experiential. He would not believe in anything unless he experienced it for himself. So if he only heard about, say, oh, it's possible to think about ultimate reality as this or that, he would say, I want to experience that. And he did that in his life, instant like that, because he came with so much power. Avatar varishtai, that's the right language. I'll take some more questions.
So Jay, we have a question from Aniket Ratnaparki on Facebook.
Can I just stop you 1 second, Nishibhai? A lot of questions are coming on YouTube here, which I can see on the screen. But unfortunately, because we are kind of disjointed, I'm focusing with questions from Facebook. I'm not able to respond to them. But I feel very sorry. But I'm saying if you just text me, I'll make sure Nishibhai has those questions and I'll force him to ask all those questions, because I've seen them, loads of them turning up, and I couldn't answer any of them. So we'll make sure that
we have Manish Bhai and the team asking us questions from YouTube as well.
Okay.
So they are definitely in the mix as well. But the question we have here from Aniket was, why is Gyan Yoga the hardest path? And I have a follow-up question on that. Does the study of philosophy ever lead to more answers or more questions?
I'll answer the second question first. More questions. Philosophy is not supposed to answer questions. Do you know what philosophy? How you can define philosophy in a nice, simple manner? It just makes sure that the system of thought that you adopt is well joined up. That's all it does. That's what philosophy is. There should be no disjointed parts, sitting at loggerhead with the other part, something sticking out. This philosophy just reconciles a particular vision, whatever you have, whatever system of thought you have. If it is well reconciled, that's the aim of the philosopher. So it just kind of just links up things. Okay, this is well fitted. That it fits well. That's all. That's all he can say. It proves nothing. That's why the answer is, does it prove? And it produces more questions than answers. That's the second part of the question. The first part, sorry, I lost the track. Sorry, the first part was, Nishit.
The first part was, why is Gyan Yoga the hardest path?
Yeah, the reason is this. You see, this is my personal, if you like, prejudice, if I can use the word. I think Bhakti Marg is the easiest because there's a link already between you and the ultimate reality. And when the clutter in your life disappears, it becomes revealed and you go, free flow. And you just sing and dance and happily go to your destination. This is the easiest, I'm telling you. Requires least effort. The only effort requires remove clutter. Remove clutter, just like doing clean up in your spring cleaning in your house. Clean it, and then the link is there, so it becomes revealed, and you think, oh, I love Ramakrishna, and so you can Bhakti Marg. That's why it's considered easiest. Just remove the rubbish. That's what it's saying. The other path, like Karma Marg, requires tremendous effort, selfless activity, and it's not easy. Because when you try to do selfless activity, like all of our volunteers on our group, we know what happens. We get hit, we get kicked back. This is a thankless task. A lot of people in the NHS, social service at the moment, know they in a way kind of risk their life to help others, and in return they get kicked back. They get kicks. They get criticisms. They get criticized. So this is the price we pay. For Karma Marg is tough because you're interacting with real human beings who have got a habit of kicking back. So this is the difficulty of the Karma Marg. Then you have the Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga sounds fine. You sit and meditate and you hit the jackpot. But 1 in a million will succeed. The reason is the discipline required are very tough. The yam and niyam that you need to impose on yourself before you start meditation are very tough. I'm telling you from experience. Like the yama, satya, ahimsa, astaya, apariga, brahmacharya, the first and the last one are killers. You can never be truly truthful because what you say, what you do, and what you think must join up with. We all mess up, including me. And brahmacharya, in this day and age where gender attraction is the name of the game, You can't avoid it. You open any newspaper, switch on any television, it's all, semi-naked girls dancing all the time, Bollywood, all that. And it's difficult to kind of move away from it. So we live in a world where these two things are very tough to hang on to. And these are the necessary disciplines before you sit down for meditation. So you can see Raj Yoga is not that easy. That's why very few people don't attempt it. It enforces brahmacharya and say, no, I can't. You can't even dream about lovey-dovey stuff. Then you come to the Gnan Marg. That's the worst. He says purely, look, this is what it's suggesting. It's saying, this is only suitable for Adi Shankara and Vivekananda and people of that caliber. He said, with your open eyes, you don't seek God, you see God. He said, how can you? I know I see the world, I see all these material things and curtains and chairs and tables. How do I see God? He says, stop seeking God, see God. This is the aim of Gnan Marg. With open eyes, not with closed eyes, not Rajyoga, with open eyes. You see the whole of the creation as nothing but the ultimate reality, the Brahman. First, open eyes. Now, he said, it sounds so easy and the most difficult thing. Can you look at the stone and think, this is Brahman? And once, when I was teaching little children, I said, when you actually experience the ultimate reality of Brahman, you feel the whole of this creation is nothing but made of candy floss, a little bit of lumps of candy floss all over floating around. And they say, how can we eat it? I said, no, leave it alone. But the thing is, this is what he teaches. That's why it's very tough. Only few people succeed. And how do they succeed? The intellect that they have is so sharp, it can see reality as it truly is. So you don't require quantum physics to say the reality you see is just appearance. They know it, they see it as appearance, they see it underpinning as one. And this is only experientially possible to kind of ascertain. Otherwise, I can just lecture. So Gnan Marg is the most difficult because it requires intellect that is as sharp as that of Adi Shankara. And you know how sharp it was. One young 32-year-old boy managed to bring all of India back to Hinduism. Not a minor thing. 32-year-old boy in a very vicious, difficult world, he managed to bring Hinduism back into the whole of India. And that required very sharp intellect, very, very sharp intellect. So you require that kind of sharp intellect to see through the reality that is there. Because you see a fuzz, you see through the fuzz. That is why it is the most difficult. Gnan Marg is the most difficult. Only a few succeed. And when they succeed, like Vivekananda, they say, my friend, stop seeking God, see God, see God, take the K out. See God, it's nothing but God in front of your eyes. And he was able to do that in his own life, and that's why I could talk like that. I think we should finish with that, Manish Bhai.
A couple of questions. So if you don't mind from
Jeva,
YouTube.
we're going to run over by 10 minutes.
Okay.
Because we've got so many questions. So I'm going to let Manish Bhai carry on with the questions.
Okay, sir. So we have a question from Khurram Aziz, who's a regular YouTube viewer and loves your videos. He says, if there are the gods and goddesses of wealth, why have they allowed corrupt, morally bankrupt people in power at the top?
You see, this is the problem. We personify the idea of ultimate reality as offering us like wealth and beauty like Lakshmi ji. And yet, you see, because this is purely tokenistic, our aim is just to make money and become rich. This is the sad part of the modern Hindus today in UK as well as in India. We are fixated on materialism. As we have gone through a very poor stage, poverty, as we have come out of it, we somehow feel money is the resolution of human condition. And all of us, look, all my family members, I'm very honest, think I'm an idiot. Because I used to be a very big businessman. I walked away from it. And they say, wow, why did you lose money? Why didn't you give it up? I said, I couldn't be bothered. So majority of my own family members could not be bothered about looking at me anymore because they think he's lost his plot. Money is the name of the game. So you say, why didn't Lakshmi just step in? This is how Lakshmi just steps in. I'm giving you my grandfather's example. Very good. He was very good at examples. He said, when Lakshmi ji walks into your home, into your life, she gives you a kick on the back. So if you're like this, she kicks you in the back. So you go like that. So you can't look at other human beings. You're looking in the sky. You are superior. Oh, you got money. So she kicks you on the back and you go like that. And then my grandfather said something very interesting. He said, and she will leave you sooner or later. When she leaves you, she gives you a kick on the stomach. Have you seen people lose money? They become so, weakling. They completely kind of bend over. They're gone. They lost all the aim in life because she kicks in the stomach. So this is the only way I can explain this idea of why Lakshmi, she comes, but the problem is when she comes, she gives a kick in the back. When she goes, she gives a kick in the stomach. So I think we should finish with that light-hearted note.
Just one more question, sir, if you don't mind. So I'm coming back to Raj Yoga and other yogas. So Raj Yoga insists on, discipline of Satya and Brahmacharya. But in Bhakti and Gnana Yoga, this is not a prerequisite. So, but can one actually experience God if they are not following these disciplines?
Okay, I just touch on it very quickly. I've seen the Bhakti mark, at the initial stage, you might still be attracted to the other gender. Hopefully you are truthful anyway, but you are still attracted. It's inbuilt in all of us, whole of living kingdom. It's inbuilt, it's a very force that driving the whole creation, so you can't stop it. So in the Bhakti mark is there. But according to Ramakrishna, it's a beautiful thing. He said, look, my friends, we understand you got this tremendous urge. He said, after the birth of 1 or 2 children, look at your wife, not as an object of desire, but as a spiritual companion. So if you're a true bhakta, you may have 1 or 2 children even, but in no time you grow out of it and you see your wife not as this object of desire, but as a spiritual companion. And that is the new kind of feature of our Hinduism. You start as a very secular person, a very worldly person, but then you grow out of it very quickly, mature out of it. That is the way even a great bhakta, sometimes they had many children even, and that they turned I won't mention names. The thing is, this is why you grow out of it rather than just wallow in it. When you keep wallowing in it, then you can't be a true bhakta.
Jaibai, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast today. Viewers, thank you so much for contributing all your valuable questions. It has been an interesting conversation here today. And if you like it, remember to start a watch party so your friends and family can also join in. And finally, before I just give over to Jaibai for closing remarks, I just want to remind you all again, this is our website, hindu-academy.com. This is where you can sign up for the free course on Hinduism over here. It'll take you less than 2 minutes to do that. Jaibai, do you have any final words to wrap up before I get to the quote of the day?
Indeed. Look, the sad part is today I could not respond to a lot of questions that were appearing on YouTube here. And we had huge audience here in YouTube as well, but I couldn't respond and I felt sorry about that. But if Manish Pai or you or somebody can keep track of this question, or Sita can keep track of this question, I can make sure that I respond to them, because I feel terrible that I've not been able to respond to a lot of very good questions from people on YouTube as well. And I'm sure you've done the same thing with Facebook. We'll do our best to respond as much as we can. And we are trying our best. But at the same time, please excuse us if we did not answer your question. But in the meantime, I would say thank you very much for the wonderful audience we are getting. The questions reveal very clearly they're sincere devotees. They're not here for some kind of fling or some kind of gimmick. They love what we are on about. So I'm very pleased to have such a very learned audience in our system. And I must thank our crew, Nishit Bhai, Manish Bhai, Vijay Bhai didn't turn up today. Vijay Bhai, Sita, Kaival, to participate. Thank you much, everybody.
So I'd like to finish up with a quote from Swami Vivekananda, and this is, I think, quite an interesting one for these times, which is to stand up, be bold, and be strong. Take the whole responsibility on your shoulders and know that you are the creator of your own destiny. All the strength and the succor that you want is within yourself. So I think with that, we better wrap up. We've run over, after a long time, we've run over, which is quite nice. And I wish you a great week ahead. And we will see you all again next week on Saturday, 2 o'clock UK time. Until then, be well, be safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.